Back in high school, I remember reading The Rime of the Ancient Mariner in English class. I also remember a lot of times staring at a girl a couple rows ahead of me. Oh, wait, remind me to edit that part out. In Samuel Taylor Coleridge's famous poem, an elderly seaman kills an albatross, which is blamed for a streak of bad luck on the ship. As penance, the ancient mariner is forced to wear the dead albatross around his neck. This week, Ingrid and I saw our first albatross, a bird so huge we both now understand the size and the weight of the mariner's punishment.
Welcome to the week 36 update of Ingrid and Ethan's 2024 Big Year. And just who is this mystery girl?
Oops.
Just like a Roman Catholic bishop wears a black skull cap, the male northern red bishop bird sports a black cap offset by stunning orange-red plumage. This was our first bird of the week. The albatross came later. After finding the northern red bishop along the Santa Ana River Trail in Orange County, we visited a local park where we were happy to locate a flock of California gnatcatchers and a California thrasher before ticking off burrowing parakeets in National City and checking into our hotel in San Diego to prepare for the next day's pelagic trip offshore. Legacy Whale Watch runs several pelagic trips every year. These trips are very popular with birders, offering the opportunity to see annual Southern California pelagic birds, as well as the chance for a rarity or two. Over 11 hours at sea, covering miles of the Eastern Pacific, chances are pretty good. San Diego was draped in a thick blanket of fog when we arrived at the Legacy's dock before dawn. As we listened to pre-trip instructions from the head guide, we all hoped the fog would soon burn off. Not far offshore, we found our first birds for the year, all lifers. Cassin's auklet, black-vented shearwater, surprisingly small compared to East Coast shearwaters, and black storm petrel. A great start to a day that was about to get even better. As we reached deeper waters, pink-footed shearwaters, Townsend's storm petrels, and a least storm petrel all appeared. 3 more yearbirds and 3 more lifers. On every pelagic trip, one can expect hours of staring out to sea with few, if any, bird sightings. We chat and scan, chat and scan, chat and scan some more, have a snack, maybe even nod off to sleep, grow quiet, and yes, even bored. But then, suddenly, on a very lucky day, someone spots something that brings the entire boat into a frenzy. "Tropic bird," shouted a passenger. "Tropic bird!" He had spotted a red-billed tropic bird sitting in the water in the distance. Although seen periodically off of Southern California during migration, red-billed tropic birds are an infrequent visitor, and this was the first report of one in the lower 48 in the past month. The boat went crazy, and so did we. When things finally calmed down, a birder from Arizona asked if this was a life bird for us. When we told him that we had had one in Maine a few years ago, his mind was truly blown. Yes, a red-billed tropic bird returned every summer to an island off of Maine for 17 years. He was last seen in 2021. Our incredibly successful day was topped off with several sightings of black-footed albatross. The very size of this bird is remarkable, a Coco's booby, and several pods of delightful short-beaked dolphin and a couple of impressive elephant seals. We ended the trip having gained 10 new birds for the year and 9 lifers. Sunday dawned extremely hot in Southern California, so hot that by the time we reached Lindo Lake at 11 a.m., the temperature was already 105 degrees. Fortunately, there was a little bit of shade, and it did not take us too long to find our target tricolored blackbird, which looks just like the ubiquitous red-winged blackbird, except it doesn't have a yellow stripe on its wing. On to our next stop, the even hotter Salton Sea. The Salton Sea is a shallow, landlocked, and highly salty lake in southeast California. It was accidentally created in 1905 when an irrigation canal broke during spring floods. For 2 years, water flowed into an ancient dry lake bed, creating the Salton Sea. In the 1950s and 60s, the Salton Sea became a tourist attraction with hotels and vacation homes. Its location on the Pacific Flyway attracted migrating birds and the crazy people that follow them. It is also located on the San Andreas Fault. Yikes. Slowly, the lake began to dry up and became increasingly toxic due to agricultural runoff. It is currently about 15 miles long and 35 miles wide. However, its boat launches sit miles from the current shoreline, and massive die-offs of fish and birds happen on occasion. We made the 2.5-hour trek from San Diego to the Salton Sea to stand on a clay bluff in 113-degree heat looking for one particular bird, the yellow-footed gull. The Salton Sea is the only place in the United States to find them. The lake was shimmering in the heat, and it was filled with other gulls, stilts, and shorebirds. Ethan and I scanned up and down the lake with our spotting scopes, which quickly became hot to the touch. Finally, we spotted one gull bigger than the rest, with a bright white chest, dark black wings, and yellow legs. We took a few photographs and got back on our air-conditioned rent-a-jeep. We had our yellow-footed gull. The heat continued on Monday, reaching 111 by the time we reached Pasadena. We made a birding stop in the mountains where it was only 90 degrees, which felt positively refreshing. As dusk arrived Monday night, we raced through residential Arcadia and Pasadena, chasing a flock of parrots. The birds would land in a tree or on a power line, and we'd jump out and take photos. After a few minutes, the squawking birds would take off in unison and fly a few blocks over, and we'd track them down while traversing a tangle of one-way streets and cul-de-sacs. And get a few more photos in the dark. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Why the photographs? The flock was primarily red-crowned parrots, a species we'd seen in Texas in February, but we hoped that there might be a few yellow-headed parrots buried in there someplace. When it became too dark to track the parrots, we adjourned for a healthy dinner at an air-conditioned Chili's restaurant. It was still 105 outside. After reviewing our photos, we had in fact seen 3 yellow-headed parrots. Another life bird on Tuesday morning, the Pacific golden plover, brought our year total up to 675. Tomorrow morning, we're taking a ferry out of Ventura to Santa Cruz Island, where we hope to find the endemic island scrub jay, a bird found on the island and nowhere else.
Thanks for watching this weekly recap of Ethan and Ingrid's 2024 Big Year. Remember to visit our blog at bigyearbirding.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the subscribe button. And if you want more of this silliness, we also have a Facebook and Instagram page. Happy birding!